It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one, with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
We all want to look and feel our best. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to live your best life every day. There are simple, practical, and inexpensive changes that you can make in your life today that will elevate your life in so many incredible ways. If it feels like it's time to hit that reset button and start living your best life now, Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we age, things change. We might start to experience lower energy, changes in mood, brain fog, or just a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center, located in Midtown.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Tell your friends.
Grant's back.
Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hello.
Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
Time to begin.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
And a good afternoon, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Let me get to a little bit of a confusion And it has to do with the Kings-Spurs start time tonight. The game was originally scheduled for the 8 o'clock window due to national TV. That is not the case. That game now is at 7 o'clock. So if you have tickets to the game, understand that it is a 7 o'clock start time, a usual start time, and not 8 o'clock as it was first scheduled. So Kings and Spurs tonight, which means post-game show coming up right after on YouTube and X with Jerry and Rhino. The Spurs did play last night in L.A. against the Clippers, and so we'll wait until we get closer to game time to see who actually is playing and who is not playing. How sad is it that in this day and age, with the way the NBA is played, you don't even know who's going to play from game to game, right? Never used to be like that. And again, we're not talking about the last week of April or the middle of April when the regular season ended. We're talking about the middle of March. By the way, happy St. Paddy's Day. I'm wondering, when you look at the National Football League, can one trade put a team over the top? Did the Denver Broncos today just solidify their position in the AFC by getting a proven big-time receiver in Jalen Waddle from Miami for a first-round pick? I love this move. I mean, it gives Bo Nix a legitimate number one. It gives the Denver Broncos an inconsistent up-and-down offense a really, really good receiver. And I love this. A first-round pick for Jalen Waddle. You're not getting a receiver in the first round as good as Jalen Waddle. I think this is a tremendous move. It's one of the best moves in the offseason, in my opinion. I think there is no negatives to this at all. Not that I see. Not that I see. Now, there has been some talk about another pick involved, but you get Jalen Waddle on your team who's 27. He has to undergo a physical, and based on what happened with Max Crosby, you know, you got to hold on and wait because you just never know. But he's top shelf. He's really good. He's really good. I love this move for the Denver Broncos. I really do. I think this is a really, really good move for the Denver Broncos. What do you think? 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The World Baseball Classic. All right, here we are. And the United States and Venezuela. Venezuela scoring 3 times in the 7th last night to beat Italy. And so now they will square off in South Florida against the United States. Here we go, right? Here we go. The World Baseball Classic. I told you at the beginning of this that I was kind of lukewarm, that I would watch it once they got out of the pool play. And I did. And I watched the game the other night against the Dominican Republic, and I talked about it yesterday on the show. What a great spectacle it was. What a great, just the way baseball to me used to be played. And I'm like, wow, baseball. I just watched a real, true baseball game. So tonight, it is the United States and Venezuela. Do you have any interest in that? I'm just curious. Do you have any interest in the World Baseball Classic? If you do, I would suggest that tonight would be the night you sample it, because after tonight, it's over, and then we get back to spring training and opening day, and we will be talking baseball because the A's are in Sacramento for at least this season. There's a lot of talk about whether we're going to have baseball next year because of the apparent work stoppage that is going to be in place. Who knows, right? I mean, with everything going on in the world today, who knows? You can't figure anything out. You can't figure anything out at all. You really can't. And then there is something that I'm going to talk about later. But I'm going to ask you a question. And again, I'm just going to pose the question to you. All right? So let's say that you're an individual that is a professional athlete making an absurd amount of money because you play in the NBA, and you're always in the news because you are a very aggressive player, okay? And by that, I mean you get suspended, you have a label as a dirty player, and let's say that as an individual that's well-known, who, by the way, is not even playing right now because you have a broken hand, let's say that a week ago, you got pulled over, arrested, and charged with a DUI. Okay? Again, I'm just trying to put yourself in those shoes. And let's say that a week after being arrested for a DUI, you thought it would be a good idea to get in your vehicle and drive recklessly and get pulled over and cited for going 85 in a 45. The police cited that he posed a catastrophic risk. He was cited for reckless driving and released. My question is, what kind of laws do we have in this country where an individual can be arrested and charged with driving under the influence and a week later be cited for going 85 on a 45 and not be arrested? Like, what is that all about? I mean, think about this. 85 in a 45. Think about that for a moment. Think about the decision-making process that goes into this. And then ask yourself, if you were in that position making this type of money as a well-known athlete and currently not playing because of a broken hand, if by some chance you were driving under the influence, you were arrested, booked in the jail, got out on bond as a public figure, and it's all over the news, and in addition to the dangerous act of driving under the influence, the public humiliation that you go through. And then again, getting in a vehicle and being cited for going 85 in a 45. As we say, there are some things you just can't make up. You just can't make this up. You really can't. What an embarrassment. What an absolutely despicable, I don't give a blank attitude of Dylan Brooks. We see it in Cleveland with Myles Garrett. He doesn't care. He's been cited, 9 times for speeding, and many of those citations have been over 100 miles per hour. He obviously doesn't care. But, I mean, driving under the influence and charged and arrested for that, charged, not convicted yet, and then a week later, deciding you're going to drive 85 in a 45, it's unbelievable. Again, there are some things you just cannot make up. 916-779-0929. Sean Salisbury is going to come on. I was messaging him a little bit earlier. He's good to go. We'll talk about a variety of subjects with Sean. That is coming up after Grant's rant. I think I have a rant already picked out for today. I think my rant at 5 o'clock will be rather animated. I believe that of all of the, choices that I would have for my rant today, I think I have them. I think I have it. Said on the YouTube stream on our Fox Sports Sacramento page, it's because these type of people are brainless knuckle draggers. They certainly look brainless to me. That's for sure. Or they just do not care. Incredible. Incredible. Let me read some of these. Let me put my shades on here, like Jack Nicholson without the... Said Henry Ruggs would like to offer his consulting services. Visit him at the Las Vegas detention facility. Yeah. And then again, it's because these type of people are brainless knuckle draggers. You know, it's really sad. I mean, in Henry Ruggs' case, it resulted in the death of a young lady and her dog in a very violent, awful, fiery collision in Las Vegas. And you just wonder, like, with all of the mechanisms that are in place in pro sports, and I'm going to keep it to pro sports because I know it to be true, there is so, I mean, you wouldn't believe the services that are available to professional athletes when they really want or need something, such as a vehicle to drive them somewhere. I mean, it's so simple. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter what time of the day or night it is, whether it's 4 in the afternoon or 4 in the morning. If they need transportation, they have a number they can call, and it can be there momentarily. Seriously. And yet, how often do we see these type of stories? It's not only unbelievable. You know what it is? It's sad. It really is sad. It's very sad. Well, I knew Cody would chime in here, Mr. Denver Bronco. He said, I love the trade for Jalen Waddle. Denver holds the 30th pick, a first, a third, and a fourth-round pick swap. Can't get a player like this at 30. He will be a great flanker alongside. He will be great flanked alongside Sutton. Good hands, good speed. Just got to stay healthy. That's from Cody. Cody, I'm with you. I think it's a great move, and that's why I started my show with it. I think that the Denver Broncos now have solidified themselves as the team to beat in the AFC West, not just because of what they did last year. I think with Bo Nix's experience, obviously the injury in the championship game was just terrible that he wasn't able to play in that after being hurt in overtime the week before. But I think when you get a player like this, I mean, Bo Nix is going to love him. Bo Nix is going to love him. This message coming in as well, also from Cody. Henry Rugg is getting released next year. He may play in the NFL again. All right, so I have some thoughts on that. And I would love to get your thoughts because we went through a similar situation years ago when Michael Vick was in a federal penitentiary, federal prison. He was incarcerated for 2 years, right? And he was released after serving his time. In other words, he paid his debt to society, if you want to go down that road. And as heinous and ugly as his crimes were, we're now talking about a human being. So my question is, and Cody put that out because I want to ask this. And it has happened before. There have been players that have returned to the National Football League after being convicted of vehicular manslaughter. Okay? So we have seen it happen in the past. I'm going to ask the question, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. I believe, well, I'll give you my opinion first. I believe that if you are driving under the influence and the result of your decision takes the life of another human being, I personally don't think you should get an opportunity to go back and play in the National Football League. And I'm keeping this to sports. I'm not keeping this to your job or work, okay? That's my opinion. I had a different take on Michael Vick. He was sentenced after being convicted. He was sentenced to 2 years. maybe even more, but he got out after 2 years. He paid his debt to society, and he came back and he played and started in the National Football League. And there were a lot of people that were up in arms about that. And I was like, I understand. And I'm only going to say this. I'm not judge and jury. I'm just one person with one opinion. But should an individual who makes the decision to get behind the wheel of a vehicle under the influence, driving well over 100 miles per hour down a street, regardless of what city in America it is, and your acts result in the loss of an innocent life, I'm sorry. I don't think you should be able to go back and play in the National Football League or the NBA or the Major League Baseball or professional sports. That's my opinion. And again, I'm keeping it to sports here. So do I think that Henry Ruggs, if and when he gets released, should be afforded the opportunity to resume his career as a player in the National Football League? And in my opinion, the answer is no. If you disagree, I would love to hear from you at 916-779-0929. But again, this is despicable. Okay? It is horrible to me that an athlete, and I'm keeping it to sports now, can be arrested, right, and charged with driving under the influence a week ago and now be cited for going 85 in a 45. That is just awful. It's absolutely awful. All right? It is absolutely awful. Plain and simple. Awful. I want to hear from you at 916-779-0929. Boy, how about the weather? All up and down California. How's your AC? You're good? Not sure? You might want to get in touch with DAS Mechanical, HVAC service and repair experts. They are awesome. You get your AC tuned up because whereas last summer was very mild here, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case considering it's only March. DAS Mechanical will take care of you. Get in touch with them at dasmechanical.org and understand that when you go to dasmechanical.org, you're going to see a tab that says 2026 HVAC donation. That's right. You or someone you know, all right, can be nominated for a heating or air conditioning unit donated by DAS Mechanical. And if you go to dasmechanical.org, you click on that tab, fill out the nomination form, and a heating or air conditioning unit will be installed to either you or the person you nominate, if chosen. That's an awesome deed by Nick Delancey, the owner, and DAS Mechanical. Go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself for someone you know, or how about a veteran? Make it happen. Go to dasmechanical.org. All right, what do you think about the subject that I just talked about? Hit me up at 916-779-0929. Hope you're having a good day. Sean Salisbury after Grant's Rant. All coming up this afternoon on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Summer is coming. Backyard parties, barbecues, good times with great people. Take your summer to the next level with an outdoor kitchen or fire pit from Custom Fireside. Custom Fireside has the largest inventory of outdoor kitchen options, fire pits, and fireplaces in the Sacramento area. If you missed us at Capitol Beer Fest, no problem. Now through the end of March, visit one of our 2 locations. Mention Beer Fest and you'll still get Beer Fest savings. Custom Fireside, employee owned and operated in Sacramento and Elk Grove.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you. With literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site, you can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary, and even
of any of the American sports, whether it be basketball, football, regardless. You go into Suggs situation, well, the question is who's going to be the moral police? They've had manslaughter, they've had murders, they've had rapes, they've had drugs, they've had DUIs up, wherever. So who's going to say that Ruggs shouldn't go back in? If he served his time, they said, hey, you're a free man. That's where the problem is. Do I agree with you? Yeah, I probably agree with you. But hey, that American public runs sports anymore. So I think you're going down the wrong rabbit hole on that one. But I agree with you. But I just think that's the way American sports are. They're kind of when you give young people money, Grant, you know what's going to happen, and we all know.
Well, what can happen? We got to be careful. We don't stereotype all people. We got to be careful.
Let me ask you one other question.
Sure, go ahead. But can I just interrupt you?
We're not stereotyping anybody. We're not stereotyping anybody.
Well, you just did. No, whoa. Stop. Okay. Stop. You just did. You just did. You just stereotyped when you said when you give young people money. What you needed to say is some people, not all people. You didn't say all, but you just can't make a blanket statement. There are a lot of people that are young that have a lot of money that don't get in trouble and don't cross the line. That's the point I was making. But go ahead, your turn.
Well, yeah, I know, I appreciate it, and I don't think that's what I didn't mean. I don't mean everybody. When you talk about something happening, you don't talk about everybody. Sometimes we use the term everybody, but that's not what we mean. We probably mean a portion of that everybody, and that's what I should have said. But all those things come together. Sports is just one of those fabrics that it's all woven into, and I think it's hard to sell him that he can't come back and play.
Well, legally, he will be allowed to come back and play. I mean, legally, but ethically, all right, I'll ask you, Sam, as a fan, let's just say, pick out your team. Pick out any team, whatever your favorite team is. Would you want an individual playing? Would you want to root and support an individual that was driving 125 miles per hour and is under the influence and killed an innocent lady who was just out and about driving home with her dog? Is that someone that you're going to go to the stadium and cheer for?
Absolutely not. Probably not. But on your situation, you can't condemn everybody. So here's one person, and does he have a right to come back? Legally, he does. But do I want him on the team? Am I going to go today to see Henry Ruggs play where he's going to play on the Raiders? Yeah, if I like the Raiders as a whole, I'm going to discount him and he's on the team, but I'm still going to go and support the team. That's the way it is. I own Kings tickets from 1985. I've had Kings tickets from 1985, and there's been a few despicable plays through this time through our team that I wouldn't want to associate with personally. But did I not go to the Kings game? I went to all of them. In fact, I'm going tonight.
Fair enough. Sam, I really appreciate you taking the time to call the show. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks very much.
You're a great guy. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. It's a good call. He's right. You know what? He's right on a couple of different levels. He's right, first of all, that there would be no legal restriction from having Ruggs go back to work, Ryan. And here's the second part of what he said, Ryan, that I really agree with. Here's the biggest problem, in my opinion, with sports in our society, is that fans leave their moral compass at home when they go root for their sports teams. They don't give a damn whether the athletes on their team are good people or bad people, have broken the law or not. If they can help your team win, they will turn their head the other way and they will root for their team regardless of a heinous act that may have been committed by one of the people on their team. It's gone on forever, and it will continue to go on because too many fans are all about one thing and one thing only, winning, and they leave their moral compass and turn their head if it makes their team win.
So a couple of things. Henry Ruggs was never formally disciplined by the NFL. So he would be disciplined before he would probably be able to return to play. Second, I think that depends on the fan base. There's going to be a segment of fans that, yes, they are going to look the other way. There's also a segment of fans that don't. What was it, Jalen Green, that went through that whole thing with domestic violence and ended up in Houston, and then, no, was it Charlotte, and then ended up somewhere else? But a lot of teams stayed away because of that. I think in Ruggs's case, and in these situations, to me, it's a case-by-case decision on my behalf, because what are they doing with that platform? What have they done? Have they been rehabilitated? Are they remorseful? Are they doing things still to try to educate the community? You know, it's all that in a nutshell. But I mean, I guess it kind of.
Well, I just think though, when you take someone's life, I just think though, there has to be a line in the sand that is never crossed. And this is me now.
Yeah.
Okay. As heinous as Michael Vick was for dogfighting and the death of dogs, we're now talking about a human being. Okay. We're talking about a human being whose life was lost because of the actions and the decisions of Henry Ruggs. And I'm not saying he can't have a life back. I'm not saying that he can't have freedom. I don't like the fact that he may be on the field playing professional football. That's just me, though. That's just my opinion. If you disagree with it, I have no problem, but that's my opinion.
I mean, it's, in this country, the worst thing you can do, whether it is manslaughter, taking a life. I mean, that's it. That's the top of the list. I also believe that if you have paid your time and done your time, that people sometimes deserve second chances. Now, a second chance with something like that is not something that they are entitled to. To me, that's something that they have to earn. And that is why I say, what's his platform look like? Is he going to be an advocate for people to not drink and drive? Is he going to speak, do things? And that's where it kind of comes out for me. I mean, but if we're being honest, beating women, firearms, we can keep going down the list. Taking a life's bad, but some of those, even though the survivor is still alive, you can still take a life from them while they're still living. And it's just, I think it's a very tricky conversation. It's very tricky. You can ruin somebody's life.
Well, we get back to Dylan Brooks. And you try to put yourself in another individual's shoes, right? And I'm just asking you, not you, Ryan, in Sacktown. I'm just asking our audience, though. Imagine if you were arrested as a public figure, and I'm saying as a public figure because a lot of people don't understand that as a public figure, very often the worst part of going through an experience that that Dylan Brooks just went through is the public humiliation. Because, Ryan, I don't know who your next door neighbor is, but if your next door neighbor tonight gets arrested for a DUI, nobody's going to know about it.
Right.
You probably wouldn't even know about it. His employers won't know about it. His whatever. When you're a public figure and you get arrested, it's front page news. It's talked about. It's everywhere. It is in addition to the misdeed and the breaking of the law, it's public humiliation, which in many cases is worse than the actual act that you were arrested for.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have Dylan Brooks, who went through this a short period of time ago, and now is pulled over going 85 in a 45. So you know what that tells me? He wasn't on a freeway. He wasn't on a highway. He was on a residential road. And the reason why I make that distinction is when you're on a highway, let's face it, okay? If you're going 85, I'm going, okay, he's going 85, big deal. All right, I'm sorry. Some of the speed limits in America are 80, okay? But you're going 85 in a 45, and the police talked about catastrophic driving. Why is that individual not handcuffed, arrested, and taken down into jail? He shouldn't be allowed to be released and drive home, in my opinion, or wherever he's going. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, we don't know. I don't know the details if he was able to drive home or not. It's very possible that they may have taken the car.
They said he was released. He said he was cited and released.
Okay. You can be cited and released and not drive your car home. I don't know how that works. I do know this. In Arizona, you have 30 days to appeal your DUI. It basically 30 days to appeal to the DMV why the automatic suspension should not go into place, which can go from a 90-day suspension to a year suspension. So to me, the thinking is the first thing I jump to is screw it. That's I'm going to lose my license, so why am I going to change? And that makes things all the worse, because if you're going that fast and you have catastrophic driving, it's not that hard to hit a little pothole. It's not that hard to hit a rock, have a rock hit your windshield. You maybe turn the wheel a little bit and maybe I'm in somebody's house. Maybe I just hit somebody in a bike, and that's just as bad. Just poor judgment. It's not caring.
Very interesting topic at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. I was not even really planning on getting into this with the depth that we have, but I think that it's worth a discussion. I'll tell you what else is worth a discussion is we're going to become a little bit lighter with what we're talking about, and that's Ryan, who is absolutely on fire with his prize picks. Like almost, I mean, I think it's every night. Every night he's sending me a screenshot of his picks, and I'm like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's unbelievable. You ought to start a new business. Forget about radio. You got a better career in prize picks. Seriously. Forget about radio. Forget about being my wingman. Forget about, you're more than that now. Got people saying you should have my job for crying out loud. No, start a new career, Mr. Prize Picks. That's what you ought to be.
Picks. Yeah, I mean, if you use common sense and you have a little bit of fun, you can join me and have success as well. It's a lot of fun playing Prize Picks, to be honest with you. And there are so many different things from football to baseball to March Madness. Right now, they've got their March Madness max discounts. You might be asking, what's Prize Picks? It's America's #1 daily fantasy site, which means you don't have to set daily lineups. You don't have salary caps. All you do is you make your predictions on player statistics. So you choose 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their stat predictions, and that's it. Let them go to work for you. Super, super, super easy to sign up. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose that $5 lineup, you get $50 in free play. Join your community. Come join my community. Make your picks. Send them out to us, and we can go against each other. But all I'm saying, come hop on, have some fun with us. I promise you will enjoy it. Use the promo code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after your first $5 play. Win or lose. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Well, you're right. You have been right since you started doing this. You're right. You're on fire. What? Wow. Unbelievable.
I mean, they might think twice about putting any more money in my account. Just saying.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. We'll be right back. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Fox Sports. Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
We all want to look and feel our best. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to live your best life every day. There are simple, practical, and inexpensive changes that you can make in your life today that will elevate your life in so many incredible ways. If it feels like it's time to hit that reset button and start living your best life now, Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we age, things change. We might start to experience lower energy, changes in mood, brain fog, or just a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center, located in Midtown.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear. And they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary, and even
It's so sad to be in a month left to go in the regular season and you're rooting for the team to lose every game. Like that's where you are right now. These teams are so bunched up with the same number of losses.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brutal. This down the stretch, although the Kings aren't playing for anything, they're playing for everything when it comes to where the draft lottery is going to shake out and what the percentage will be for them. You know, the Spurs, they're red hot too. They have won 18 of their last 20, Grant.
That is the definition of red hot, as opposed to 2 wins in a row for the Sacramento Kings. There's a little difference, okay?
Yeah, but if you put the curve next to what the Kings have done this season, that's a good run. That's a really good run, 2 in a row.
Even with one of the wins being against the Jazz, it's still a good run.
Look, the Kings have to beat the Kings before they can beat their opponent. And anytime they do that, you got to give them credit.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm still looking at the injury reports. So Dylan Harper, questionable. The last time that I checked. Malik Monk.
They don't need him.
Questionable for the Kings, but it looks like Kings fans will get to see Victor Wembanyama, which is pretty cool. Luke Cornett, questionable. And
don't need him.
Don't need him. So, yeah, you'll get Foxy and Wemby tonight.
Yeah, and Harrison Barnes.
And HB, that's right. No tribute
We
videos,
don't talk
please.
about Harrison Barnes enough.
I know, we don't.
I mean, really, when you think about the Kings' decline, it really started the day he walked out of the building. You know? All right, hey, so I want to just put a wrap on our last segment, and then we'll go back to this. Again, he's not convicted yet of a DUI, okay? Do you think that when this is all wrapped up with Dylan Brooks, that the league then should come in and give him a punishment as well?
It depends on precedent with the NBA. Do they punish DUIs? I mean, his DUI, if you look at the video, it was not, does not appear because of alcohol. They thought it was cannabis. So, however the NBA usually treats a DUI, then yeah, that's how they should treat it.
Okay. Good. So we put a bow on that until later. Sean Salisbury coming after Grant's rant. So the goal tonight for the Sacramento Kings and expectations are two different things. I know that Doug Christie's going to try to win the game. I get that. So now we're talking about a really good team that did play last night.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to see for the Kings more than winning, I want to see them to see if they can be competitive against arguably the hottest team in the NBA. That's what I want to see. I want to see if they can be competitive.
Yeah, in their last matchup at the Moody Center, they were competitive for 2.5, 3 quarters, and then the wheels came off at the end. I want to see more than anything some of the matchups. I want to see your young guys. So Max has played pretty well against Wemby. They know each other. They played on the France national teams together. But I want to see some growth in that matchup. I want to see Dylan Cardwell, some matchups there. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm almost picking this thing apart to a degree.
My experience when the Kings were good is I could see the Spurs taking this game as a breather. And by that, I mean, they'll go through the motions for 3.5 quarters. And then with 5 minutes left, they'll put their guys on the floor and they'll get serious and they'll win the game. That's how I think this game is going to go. I don't think you're going to get the A version of the Spurs. They've been going at a rapid pace. They played last night. They know they're playing a team other than DeMar DeRozan of, young, inexperienced players. I could see them coasting. I could see them getting careless. I could see them getting cavalier about this game. And then when there's 5 minutes left and it's a 4-point game, turn it on and end up winning by double figures. Because I remember in the early 2000s when the Kings were like the Spurs, they would do that sometimes. When they were real hot, they'd go into a place where they were expected to win by 30, and they would coast and they wouldn't be serious. And then when they knew they had to get serious, they did, and they would go on a 10-0 run or something. That's how I think this game's going to go.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big De'Aaron Fox night. I just got to say it. He played really bad in his return to Sacramento. He was dealing with the finger thing. I think you're going to get a big game out of him tonight. I think he is going to be pushing that envelope. So maybe everybody else plays bad, but I expect De'Aaron to play really well.
Okay, fair enough. And who do you think will defend him?
Killian Hayes.
Okay.
You're going to get some Killian on him. You will definitely...
Not Keon Ellis, right?
Keon who? You mean the guy that's like playing 30 minutes in Cleveland? And I can't even
Keon.
I can't even do more thans on Keon right now on Prize Picks because the number is too high. Yeah, that Keon Ellis. You're gonna see some Neek, I think, on him as well. You've got to see if Neek can have some success, but it'll be a combination.
I don't think Neek could guard De'Aaron Fox if his life depended on it.
Well, it's probably going to happen. They will get some switches. You made the point when we brought this up about Neek. I want to see, coming off of the film last game, if more teams are going to press Neek, if the Kings are going to put the ball in his hand.
Yep.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, we did see that. You made a very good point on the post-game show. I thought that was pretty apparent, forcing him into some real bad passes and handling pressure. Can he run away from pressure? Can he elude? Can he beat those types of defenses off the dribble?
Yeah, you know who else? Russell Westbrook will get a ton of time on Fox as well. So.
Oh, you mean Russ is going to be okay to play? Is that right?
Apparently so.
Okay, so he's not sore anymore, huh?
Hey, I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if the NBA. I think personally, this is just my own take, the Kings are on thin ice with the NBA.
And why do you say that?
I say that because you have nights where these guys are perfectly fine. And then you have nights where, this is a little bit sore. And because the race is tightening for that last spot, when you play a game like you did last game, and last game would have gotten the Kings off of thin ice. If you would have had Westbrook play, if you would have had Monk play, if you would have had that group out there, because then you're shoving it back into the Jazz's court, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Tonight will be a tough one, but hey, ticket prices are a little bit higher because Wemby, Fox are going to be there.
I get it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching him in person. Yeah, I would watch him in person. I'd go to the game tonight just to watch him. I wouldn't go for any other reason.
You have a chance to see a guy that very well could be, as Jerry has said it, the best to have ever played the game. Can't pass that up.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You cannot pass that up. So that will be the case. We'll be on after the game over on YouTube and X. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan at Sacktown, myself. We're looking forward to that. The post-game show on YouTube and X. Don't forget Sean Salisbury after Grant's Rant. You can call the show at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The World Baseball Classic. I'm still not really seeing any interest, and I'm a little surprised by that. Are you even planning on following the game tonight? The chance to win it all for the United States. I've enjoyed watching the games that I've watched. I actually watched some of the Venezuela-Italy game last night, and I enjoyed that. I really did. By the way, what's that?
Is anybody going to be watching the first four? That begins tonight for the NCAA first four.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're watching everything. That's what we do here. I'm watching hockey too, by the way. Just want to let you know. Okay? Like these games are huge coming up in the National Hockey League. I don't know if you know that, but I'm watching hockey. I'm watching everything. Absolutely. You know, hockey coming down the wire. So yeah, I'm into it. I'm watching it all. Will the Sharks make the playoffs? I think they are. I like the way. I didn't think they would 4 or 5 weeks ago, but they're in Edmonton tonight taking on the Oilers. That is not going to be an easy game. All right, let's get to some phone calls. Let's say hello to Lane. Lane, welcome to the show. Lane, thanks for calling. How are you today?
Not bad, Grant. How about yourself?
I'm well,
anyway,
thank you.
I was going to call about that Henry Ruggs deal, and you know it boils down to the owners. It seems like the owners, if they want money or they're looking for money, they don't care who they end up getting on their team, apparently. But I think it boils all down to their owners. What's your take?
Thanks for the call. No, I don't think it boils down to the owners. I don't. I think it boils down to, first and foremost, what the courts say, because I think if Henry Ruggs I think if the league would not allow him to play, he would win in court for him to play, and the owners wouldn't be able to do anything. So I'm not really sure about that. But I would love to hear some more phone calls on either the WBC, this, or anything else at 916-779-0929. We're up against the break, so for those of you that are on hold, I will get to you in a moment because we're going to take a timeout here shortly, and then we'll come back to start hour number 2, and I will get to Ralph and some of the other callers. I will also read some text messages. And don't forget, an hour from now, after Grant's Rant, we will have Sean Salisbury. We'll talk about this and a lot of other things. So I can't wait for that. That's Sean Salisbury in about an hour right here on today's show. Kings and Spurs tonight. We'll talk about that as well with the game at 7 o'clock tonight. And anything else that's on your mind, WBC, NHL, NBA. How about the Denver Broncos? Wow, Jalen Waddle going to Denver. Woo. What a move that is. Yeah, I'll send a late first round pick for Waddle. Are you kidding me? That's a great move, in my opinion, by the Broncos. A great move. An absolutely phenomenal move by the Denver Broncos organization. All right, we'll come back. We'll get to your phone calls. That's next right here on Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
This weekend, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks is live at Cal Expo, but this Thursday, you can see the all-new Rhino Mine in person at Elk Grove Chevrolet. It's free to the public, plus win tickets and other official swag, too. Come see Rhino Mine this Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. at Elk Grove Chevrolet at the Elk Grove Auto Mall.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
Did you hate your heating bill this winter? Fix it with 10-10-20 from Sierra Pacific. 10 years parts and labor warranty, 10 years to pay, and 20% off a new Sierra Pacific comfort system. Plus, this system will get SMUD customers a $3,000 rebate. Lock in the best price of the year on the best option for heating and cooling your home. 10-10-20, only from Sierra Pacific.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Summer is coming. Backyard parties, barbecues, good times with great people. Take your summer to the next level with an outdoor kitchen or fire pit from Custom Fireside. Custom Fireside has the largest inventory of outdoor kitchen options, fire pits, and fireplaces in the Sacramento area. If you missed us at Capitol Beer Fest, no problem. Now through the end of March, visit one of our 2 locations. Mention Beer Fest and you'll still get Beer Fest savings. Custom Fireside, employee owned and operated in Sacramento and Elk Grove.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
There's a great American pastime that the entire family can enjoy together, located right outside of Sacramento. The Golden State Shooting Center welcomes you. The Golden State Shooting Center is an 80-acre clay target shooting facility. It's the home of numerous youth sport shooting teams from the region. Over 1,000 high school students from Northern California are on sports shooting teams, and 10 of the Western United States' top shooting teams train at Golden State Shooting Center. New members are being accepted now. For details, visit goldenstateshootingcenter.com.
I love the exercise classes at the Senior Center, and I love eating healthy, but it can be expensive. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to programs that help me pay for groceries. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC.
And Ralph. Hello, Ralph. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys. Yeah, just on a Rhino the other day. I'm sure the heat can be a little bit worse in NorCal where you guys are at, but it's hot. We're feeling it here.
Yeah.
But with the WBC, I'm a huge baseball fan. You know, the Kings and Padres, those are my teams. So I'm really more of a baseball and basketball guy. So with the WBC, I've enjoyed it a lot, and seeing some of my own players that are from the Padres on the Dominican, and then also with Mason Miller, who's to be with the A's, now the closer on the Padres and on Team USA. Like it's been good to watch, and I have to agree with that text where the excitement is definitely there. But I remember this topic coming up a little bit last week too. With I feel like the state of the game definitely, and some of the problems are still with MLB, the baseball in general. Well, and I want to say too, like there's some good things that have happened. I feel like Rob Manfred helped with the pitch clock. That's helped with the flow of the game and everything. But I feel like the viewer experience in the ballpark versus what's on TV, I think that's what they're trying to fix. And I still feel like there's a huge difference there. And the other
How do you do that? How do you change the viewer experience in the ballpark? How would you do that?
I don't know. Well, and I've seen a lot of the discussion threads of you don't care how long the game is when you're at the ballpark. You're enjoying it. You're having a good time. You're enjoying the sun and all that, whether it's a night or day game. But when you're on TV, some of the games can drag out. I don't know how exactly you change that. And that's a great point. But I feel like the pitch clock has started to do that. I think ABS will change some of that for the viewers. Sometimes, the box is not always correct. Like, what did I just see? If that's not what the umpire is seeing, we saw that with the Dominican and the U.S.
Yep.
And sometimes like it can be off, and sometimes there's way too many numbers on there for the casual fan. I follow baseball pretty well, where I understand some of it, but sometimes there's just too many stats they're throwing at you, and what really matters. And then also, I feel like the experience too. I think people watch the Dodgers and the Yankees, but it is very regional. I think people are really focused on their division, which is great because the division means something, not like it does in basketball, But outside of that, when those marquee games or when it comes to October, I don't feel like people watch it nationally in the way that we watch football, especially, right, and basketball. There I feel is a huge difference. I feel like people mostly follow their teams, and maybe certain players. Of course, there's going to be the 1% diehard. But I feel like baseball is very regional in that sense. And then the other aspect too that I think needs to be fixed is teams and owners not spending enough. The Dodgers situation doesn't fix that. They have a monopoly of all these players. I don't think that's good for the league. I think it's good for viewership and for one team. But as far as parity and competition, we're going to be at a lockout. And I feel like baseball is getting goodwill with the WBC. But when the lockout comes next year, they're going to lose a lot of that. And that's a problem.
I agree with you. But the only thing I don't agree with you, I do think that people at the games do care how long the games go. Because I think if you're at a weeknight game that starts at 7 o'clock and it gets past 10 and you're with your family and you got kids to go to school tomorrow, I think you do care. I really do. So that's the only thing I disagree with you on.
Point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you make a lot of good points. Yeah. Who's so you're a San Diego Padres fan, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Do you feel, and they have a very good team and they've spent money and you look at their roster, is it, how do I want to say this? I don't want to say is it difficult, but is it frustrating knowing that as good as your roster looks, you're probably still not going to beat the Dodgers because they have an all-star team?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's my frustration there. Yeah. I feel like you're making the strides, and not enough teams are trying to compete, but we actually are. We're not just, giving up like some teams, and we're doing. But then you do all you can, and then they get Edward Diaz, and they get Kyle Tucker. But like we don't even have that kind of money, and obviously the international money and all that. There's just no way to compete with that. But at the same time, I guess you have to not compare yourself to them. You have to just see just try to get to the playoffs and see what happens. That's what we can only hope for.
Hey, good call, Ralph. I appreciate it very much. You have a good afternoon.
All right.
Take care. Very interesting points from Ralph. Let's get to Rockland and Austin. Hello, Austin. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Grant?
Austin, thanks for calling. What's going on?
Staying on the WBC topic, I know it was a couple days ago, but as an A's fan, man, it was really, really good to see Severino out there throwing as well as he did. I know he's kind of been a hot and cold pitcher throughout his career, but if he can pitch like he did against Team USA, I
He was
really feel
great.
good about the top end of our rotation.
Yeah, how about his
Questions,
velocity?
but that's
I
a
was
good start.
shocked. I was shocked to see his velocity in the upper 90s. I was like, whoa, that was like Severino when he was back with the Yankees.
I agree, and I can't tell if he is actually as old as I think, or if he's just been in the league a super long time. But he looked like vintage Severino.
Yeah, he did. He looked very good. He looked very, very good. I would agree with that.
Yeah, so that was good. The other question I had was, what is your take on Ken Rosenthal? I know he's kind of getting a bad beat right now for being seemingly kind of a scumbag as far as a reporter goes, and I don't know if you've had any interaction with them or if you have any, behind the curtain take on Ken Rosenthal.
I've never met him. I don't even believe I've ever interviewed him, so it would be very difficult for me to comment on that. I have seen stories on him and some of the outrage. Do you have a problem with him?
I mean, it's when you hear about teams like the Padres not wanting him in their clubhouse at all, and then there was that visual last year or the year before of him kind of looking at the cameraman.
Yep.
I don't know. It just kind of seems like he may not be the best guy, and it seems like in this day and age with social media, people's true colors can kind of either be figured out or at least keep people judged with what they see. But
yeah, I want to stop you there. You just made a great point. Because of social media, and sometimes things can take a life of their own when they're not necessarily true. One of the worst things that can happen to an individual is getting a label on them, even if it's a unfair and untrue label. It's very difficult to shake that. So I'm not really sure what's true and what's not. I would only say this. When you see a team not wanting a reporter in the clubhouse, normally where there's smoke, there's fire. That's where I'm kind of like, right? Social media is one thing, but when you see these things going on with teams, that tells me something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. Take care. Bye-bye. It's interesting, Ryan. We talk about social media and we talk about like labels. And when you get a label, it's very difficult to shake in this day and age, regardless of where and who started it. And it really doesn't even matter if it's true or not, because a lot of these labels are completely untrue and they stay with you forever. And it's one of the worst parts of our society now. And social media is the culprit.
Well, especially if you're a public figure.
Correct.
Anything you put on social, it's forever. Somebody has screenshotted it at some point before you take it down. And it's one of those things where you really have to be on your P's and your Q's. You have to assume that you're being watched at all times if you're in that position. But yeah, to your point, the sad part is when narratives start that are completely unfair.
Of course.
And untrue.
Of course.
Because then you just feel like you're fighting off a mob. You're defending yourself for something that would never 10, 20, 30 years ago had been a big deal.
I've gone through that. And so I would only tell you, because I'm experienced in dealing with this, is that I have learned that the only thing that matters in life to me are the people that I know and know me. And by that, I mean the people that I interact with in my life, that I'm in contact with, that know who I am, what they think of me is the only thing that matters to me. I don't really care what an individual that I've never met thinks about me. It doesn't bother me. It used to, long time ago. It doesn't anymore. I understand the world that we're living in. Let me even back that up. I understand the country that we're living in, because the rest of the world is not like this in many instances, many examples. I don't care what somebody that's never met me thinks about me or has to say about me. I really don't. I don't even wink at it. I don't raise my eyebrow at it. I don't lose sleep over it. If you, as somebody that I've interacted with you for years now, has something bad to say about me, then I'm going to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, okay, whoa. Wait a minute.
For sure.
So when you are a public figure, and you are going to learn about this because you are now entering a different phase in your life where you have gone from a private person to now you are going to be a public figure in the market of Sacramento. People now know who you are based on your elevation in this profession. And so you're going to be dealing with these things. And I have talked to a lot of aspiring and current younger, when I mean younger, not necessarily age, but in terms of experienced broadcasters. And I've given the same message to them. Don't worry about somebody that you've never met before. Worry about an individual that knows you, has interacted with you, and is in your circle.
Right.
Worry about those people. Don't worry about people that you've never met before.
And for as balanced as you approach that, there's others that are completely on the other side of the fence, like Kevin
Correct.
Durant, right?
Yes.
The littlest things bring him out of the woodworks. I mean,
correct.
Even De'Aaron Fox, who's back in town,
Correct.
he would get caught up in some of that stuff as well.
Well, DeMarcus Cousins here
Yeah.
in Sacramento was the biggest culprit of that. Chris Webber
Yeah.
was like that. Chris is ultra sensitive to any type of criticism to a point where I couldn't believe it. DeMarcus Cousins would be number one in that list, and Kevin Durant would be right there as well. I've never met Kevin, so I can't speak on Kevin as much as I can speak on DeMarcus, but I've never quite understood that. I really, why would you waste your time dealing with people that don't know you, who criticize you? Who cares? Honestly, and I mean this, I do not care. I don't care at all. It doesn't matter to me.
I got to be honest, between you and between the jungle and going through that entire experience as part of Rome show, where I was somebody that would come up a decent amount of time and participate all the time, I started learning that lesson very early on about having to look the other way and know who your friends are and who they aren't, because I've got some great friends, lifelong friends that I've met from there, and I care what they think, but I don't care about the others. You brought up the fact that you've not met Kevin Durant. Is there anybody during your broadcasting time that you were just like, dang, I wish I would have met them? Why did I not go up to them?
In the NBA or any sport?
In the NBA.
Yeah, Jerry West. I only met Jerry West once, and it was so surreal. I don't even know if I should tell the story because I don't think it would be appropriate. Vladdy used to talk to Jerry West all the time in my presence, and I never once went over and introduced myself. But I'll just tell you part of the story. I was in LA, standing on the floor 15 minutes before the game, getting ready to do what we call our scene set rehearsal. And I'm standing next to Doug, who I was working with at the time, getting ready to do the game. We're not on TV. And Jerry West walks up to us and looks at me and says something that is extremely derogatory about somebody that used to play for the Sacramento Kings. And I won't even get into that part of it. And I was just like, whoa. And I started laughing because I know it to be true. Because I agree with Jerry.
Yeah.
As I later found out, Doug 100% disagreed with Jerry. And even though Doug laughed and played it off, I later found out it really ruffled his feathers.
Interesting.
And because Doug, as all of his good traits, lives in a bubble with blinders on, and he doesn't see what's real very often. I see what's real, and I accept the fact that criticism is okay, and it's part of life, and that you shouldn't walk around with blinders on. But when Jerry came up and said that to me, and I've never talked with Jerry West before, it was a wow moment in my life. Like, it was a moment where I was like, I just cannot believe that Jerry West came up to me as I was standing on the floor, okay, literally came up to me and said what he had to say. And it came out of left field about a former star of the Sacramento Kings. And I was just like, yep. I said, you're right.
A complete drive-by.
I
from
said,
the
you're
logo.
right. It was a drive-by, and I just looked at him and I laughed. I go, you're right. You're right. And I'm like, and he turned around and walked away. And that was my only interaction with the logo. I mean, I obviously Jerry knew who I was. I mean, Jerry's seen me. Jerry watches the NBA all the time, but I just never, I don't know why. I never went up and said, hey, Jerry, I'm Grant Napear and blah, 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 and talked to him because I was in his presence a number of times where I could have done it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I never did. I regret the fact that I never did.
It seems like you two would have had a really good spirited conversation. Like he would say something that would get you into something. I mean, I only know what I've read about Jerry and stories that have been told about Jerry. Just a ultra competitive guy.
Okay. I would only say that Vladdy, we talked about Jerry West a lot when I was with Vladdy.
Why is that?
Why? Because Jerry West was an extremely important figure in Vladdy Divac's life.
Okay.
And I wanted to learn more about Jerry and the impact that Jerry West had on Vladdy Divac. And Vladdy talks about Jerry like God. And I was fascinated by the impact that Jerry West had on Vladdy's career and his life. And I've heard so many fabulous stories about Jerry West. And now that he's gone and that I was in the league for as long as I was, I kind of like, why didn't you just go up and talk to him? I don't know why. I just never did. It's not really characteristic of me to like be timid around somebody.
Sure.
I don't know if I would say I was timid around him, but I just never did. I don't know why, you know?
You still got a great story though.
It is one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me in my life as a broadcaster. Again, imagine standing on the floor with a microphone in my hand like this, and I don't have eyes in the back of my head, and Jerry West literally walks up between me and Doug, but he's talking to me. He's not talking to Doug. And he literally, first of all, I'm like, whoa, that's Jerry West. Like, I'm like, whoa.
Right.
Okay. Like I turn around on the court. I'm like, and I'm listening to him and he goes on this little mini rant and it was quick. It was about, I don't know, 10 seconds. First of all, when he started talking, the first thing I did, I put my mic down.
Yeah. Did he know that you weren't on the air?
Oh, no, we weren't on the air.
Okay.
No, he knew we weren't on the air.
Okay.
Because I had my mic, you know, he knew.
Okay.
He knew we were not on there. You can tell when someone's on TV and when not. We were getting ready to practice our scene set, but we weren't on. But I'm always careful. So as soon as Jerry went on this topic and I put my mic down, I always do that. I put my mic down near my side with my hand over the mic. And I will just tell you, okay, had that been recorded or if that had, let me just rephrase that. If that had gotten out publicly, that would have been on every single sports show in America.
Wow.
And in every paper in America. And it would have been headline news all over America. It would have been trending all over America within 30 seconds. Okay.
Wow.
I will tell you about it after we get off the air. But to this day, of all of the things that I've listen, I could write a book and I've been asked to write a book because I've got some fascinating stories and I would put this story in there. And the reason why I would put it in there is he's not with us anymore. I just don't feel comfortable on this form, in this format.
Sure.
Just telling you everything that he said. But it blew me away. It really did. It was like, it was one of the most amazing wow moments. You talk about a drive-by. Oh, my goodness. We'll have more. I'll take the break. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news, because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you with literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site. You can start planning a road trip up into the snow now, because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources.
Teams, they have no excitement. Some say, what's your take? My take is that it's a different animal from the USA's perspective to the Latin player perspective, because the USA is the king of the hill when it comes to baseball, even though they lost to Japan in the last WBC. Baseball is America's game. And I think that and I don't want to stereotype here, but the Latin players' path to the big leagues is a lot more challenging. I think that the history of baseball and everything else, I think I've seen a lot of passion from the USA players. I think it's different, but I don't agree with that. Said the WBC is everything right about baseball. Let the batters pump home runs. Let the pitcher scream at the batter on the other dugout after a huge K. let the entire team meet the player that hit the home run at the plate to celebrate. It's all very exciting. I agree with you. I think it's great. All right. Breaking news. So, Rhino, this is unbelievable to me. I don't know if you want to comment on this. Max Crosby has come out and said that the Ravens general manager, all right, you ready for this? Eric DeCosta. He's saying that Eric DeCosta never even met with him once, even in Baltimore. How's that possible?
It shoots.
How's that possible?
Well, it completely shoots down everything that Eric DeCosta said about having him in his office and having to deliver that news. And we met with Max. Very interesting. And it only throws some tinder onto the fire that this thing was not just a failed physical. There was more to it. Remember, I believe it was, I forget her name now. It slips my mind. But she said that they texted or they were reaching out to Trey Hendrickson while Max was still in the building in Baltimore.
It was Diana Rossini.
Diana Rossini. This looks bad.
The Athletic.
Yeah. Looks really, really bad. And I mean, you don't really have any reason not to believe Max. Do you?
Why would I not believe Max Crosby?
Right.
But, I mean, why would Max make a claim of this magnitude? Because this is really damaging for the Baltimore Ravens organization, in my opinion.
And if you're the NFL, maybe it's time to start looking into that. If that was done improperly.
Why would Max Crosby wait a week to make this claim? That's a little odd, is it not? I mean, it's been a week now.
You know, maybe not.
It's been a week.
Okay, maybe from this standpoint, he needed to get his head right. I mean, I know he was in the facility the next morning getting treatment and happy to be back a Raider. Maybe he just needed to collect himself. Maybe he was ticked off. Who knows?
All right. Again, hope that everybody is well. And I will just tell you this, okay? The news in 2026, you always have to ask yourself, is there more to it than meets the eye? I find it really hard to go against Crosby here. Like, I believe he's telling the truth. And this is so interesting, okay? It's so interesting that you have a trade that was an earthquake in the National Football League, okay? An earthquake. You have a trade that completely changed free agency for a period of 24 hours in the National Football League when the trade was rescinded, when the Ravens backed out of it. You got one of the best defensive players in the National Football League who now is saying that the general manager didn't even talk to him once in Baltimore. Like, what is that all about? Seriously. What's that all about? That's perplexing to me. What do you think? 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Here's what we do know. Max is a Raider, probably going to end his career now with the Raiders. The Raiders have said they're not trading him unless they get, 2 first-round picks. You're probably not getting 2 first-round picks for him now, especially at this juncture of the free agency period with the draft coming up next month. But if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you already had egg on your face after backing out of this deal, boy, this does not look good for the Ravens. It does not look good from the Ravens' perspective at all. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. I just wonder if there's more to this story even than we're hearing about right now. Like, is there more even to this? Is this going to end up being a I guess, is there more that we don't know about this that's going to come out in the near future? Are we going to be talking about this for the next couple of weeks, the next month, the next 2 months? Is it going to go away? Like, I look at the news of last week, right on the eve of free agency, one day before you were allowed to start signing players, the Baltimore Ravens back out of this deal and signed Trey Hendrickson. And as Diana Rossini from The Athletic reported, that they were talking to Hendrickson while Crosby was in the building. Well, who is he in the building with? Just the doctors and the trainers? How would you not have the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens with the trainers and the doctors and Max Crosby? Are you telling me that Max Crosby is flying on his private jet or the Ravens' private jet to Baltimore? He's getting ready to agree to be on this team, and the general manager does not meet with him? Like, does that make sense to you? Can you imagine being the general manager of an NFL or a professional team, and you've got one of the best players in the sport who's getting ready to join your team pending a physical, and you don't meet that individual at the airport, or you're not the first person to greet him at the door when he gets out of the limo? Or, I mean, are you really? Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't really make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Your thoughts, 916-779-0929. Ryan, does that make sense to you? I mean, seriously.
No.
It doesn't add up to me.
No
It doesn't
sense.
make sense.
Not
Right?
at all. And
I mean,
what
are you doing if you're Baltimore?
We're going to turn this audio around here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be able to play it. I'm working on that now.
Okay, great. I'll leave you alone. All right. Very easy. All right. There's more to this story, and we'll get to it. Grant, if this Max story is true, the NFL needs to investigate the Ravens and penalize the Ravens because there are many dominoes that happened after that trade was nixed. Said from the 209, it's going to be worse if Hendrickson has a season-ending injury next season. Pray he doesn't and stays healthy, but this isn't a good look for the Ravens. Hey, Grant, what was the name of that air conditioning company? That is DAS Mechanical. You can go on their website, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Tell them you're a fan of the show. They are going to take great care of you. DASmechanical.org. Tell them that you're a fan of the show, and they will take great care of you. Promise you there. Again, look them up, DASmechanical.org. Well, I'm just wondering, all right, where this ends up, okay, goes. I don't know. We're going to hear more. We're going to hear from this, and we'll let you get your own opinions. We'll hear, because I'm kind of speechless right now. I don't understand. This is really significant news. And he's also talking about the head coach of the Ravens, Jesse Minter, the new head coach replacing John Harbaugh, that he acted shady. All right. Hey, by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. Guess what's going on at Bennett's? Corned beef cabbage. So if you want to really celebrate, because I just got a message from an individual getting ready to go to Bennett's, celebrate St. Patty's Day with your corned beef cabbage tonight at Bennett's. So happy that you're with us. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. There's never like a dull moment in the sports world now. Podcast, social media, everyone's doing a podcast, right? It's part of our society now. Athletes, right? Right after a game, they're getting on and doing their podcast. They're talking to everyone via their podcast. Breaking news, Max Crosby, last week after he was traded, went on his podcast, talked about going to Baltimore, talked about leaving the Raiders. It was an emotional podcast. It's everywhere. Speaking of podcasts, we're going to be on right after the Kings game tonight. Jerry Reynolds, Rhino in Sacktown, yours truly, will be on about 9:15 or 9:30 right after the Kings and the Spurs. Hope you can join us on If You Don't Like That. Tell you what, we'll take a break. We'll see if we can get some of that sound going. What's that, Rhino? Oh, thank you. Speaking of going to a break and talking about so many different things, I've got to tell you about an individual that I've known for 25, 26 years. That's Spence with Village Financial Group. And I was forgetting to read this message before I went to break, but I don't forget about Spence because, again, I've known him for so long. And when it comes to real estate, whether you're buying a home, whether you're selling a home, and a lot of people right now are so happy with their low interest rates that they were able to get a couple of years ago, they're now using equity in their home. How about a home equity line of credit? Spence is an expert at that too. He is a financing specialist, very creative. And keep in mind, he has access to private money. So if you are buying a home, it can really expedite the loan process. It's kind of like a white glove service, a boutique experience at Village Financial Group. He'll take you from the start line to the finish line. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group. All right. If you go to their website as well at vfgloans.com, vfgloans.com, you can find thousands of available properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. More on Max Crosby and this latest development next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We all want to look and feel our best. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to live your best life every day. There are simple, practical, and inexpensive changes that you can make in your life today that will elevate your life in so many incredible ways. If it feels like it's time to hit that reset button and start living your best life now, Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we age, things change. We might start to experience lower energy, changes in mood, brain fog, or just a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center, located in Midtown.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Welcome to Par 18 Golf, Northern California's premier TrackMan Golf Performance Center. If you love the game of golf, you're gonna love Par 18 Golf. Par 18 Golf is where serious golfers go to elevate their game to an entirely new level. Par 18 Golf features Ultratech TrackMan practice bays. These are the very same golf simulator systems that PGA players use to perfect their game. TrackMan systems use Doppler radar and high-speed cameras that give you instant feedback on your swing. It analyzes distance, ball spin, face angle, and club path. It's how the world's very best players train, open for both private and group events, with memberships, leagues, and coaching available. It's for serious golfers who demand more from their game. located inside the historic Nimbus Winery in Rancho Cordova. Open every day by reservation, rain or shine, day or night. Visit
I believe it was last Tuesday, but it was right before NFL free agency was going to begin, that Max Crosby was not going to be with the Baltimore Ravens and that he was going to have to go back to the Raiders. Say have to. He has no problem with that. But so in a couple of moments, we're going to hear from Max Crosby, who was on that podcast earlier today. In the meantime, if you want to text the show at 916-779-0929, you can. All right. Said, Grant, you mentioned the MLB might have a lockout next season. My question is, can the MLB do anything right now to prevent a lockout for next season? Well, yeah, they could. They could come up with an agreement on a collective bargaining agreement, but they are miles away. All right. This one, the whole Ravens thing with Crosby was set up. They had 5 doctors on the scene. They had prior medical reports before the trade. The whole trade deal stinks. The Ravens reneged on their word. Well, I don't really know the significance of having 5 doctors this is a big deal for an NFL team. You're going to acquire a player for 2 first-round draft picks, and you have to make sure that the asset that you're receiving, and in this case, the asset is Max Crosby, all right, is completely good from his previous injury. Now, one thing that was very apparent, and we talked about this last week, he's in the middle of his recovery. So I don't know how an individual coming off meniscus surgery that's still got 4 to 6 to 8 weeks to go to recover fully could pass a physical based on just common sense. I don't know how that could possibly happen. You're not going to be going in there and doing jumping jacks and squats. And you got to be realistic about this. So what is it that a team of doctors would be doing? Well, the first thing they would be doing is they would be looking at all of the imaging, right? They're looking at imaging of the knee before the surgery, after the surgery. And then I'm sure that there are a few things that they can do from an observation perspective, looking at the knee currently. I would think, even though surgery's been done 2 months ago, again, I'm not an orthopedic surgeon, I'm guessing. But what I would tell you is, it's just odd to me that a guy like Max Crosby, one of the best defensive players in the National Football League, would fly cross country, get off the private jet, go into the Baltimore Ravens facility, and the general manager didn't even meet with him. They didn't even have any contact with him. And as Crosby talks about the new head coach, Jesse Minter, what's going on here? That's not a really good start that Crosby's talking about the head coach acting shady. I don't know what to make of this. It didn't seem right last week, and it seems less right this week. Last week just didn't add up, right? That a player couldn't possibly pass a physical if he's in the middle of his recovery. So again, here is Max Crosby on the podcast The Rush earlier. Here it is.
the Joe drove me like 10, 15 minutes down the street. I had to go do all of these tests and just things that I've had in my career. You know, I had my labrum done before. I had my knee. I've had my ankle. I had my, you know, all the hand, all type of shit. So they had to do all those scans again and whatever just to make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all these scans. They took forever. They took a really long time. And so I was, you know, this is the thing, bro. Like, everyone's got their own theory, conspiracy theory. No one really will ever admit at either side what the real truth is or whatever. And ultimately, it doesn't even matter. I am where I'm supposed to be. I know that. I'll just say that. And this is the only thing. Like, I went there, did my thing, had my MRIs. Like, I was asking Joe, like, yo, like, can I, like, before I left, I wanted to see the head coach and just chop it up, talk football, talk ball. Like, he's a defensive guy. Never met him before like that, so I wanted to chop it up. So I didn't get to meet with him till the end of the day. I didn't get to see the GM at all. I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours.
So he didn't come out the whole time you're testing or doing your physical. Everyone's talking about the GM never came once out to see you.
And I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate. I didn't see him one time. I even asked the girl. I was like, "Where's Eric at?" Like, I want to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just made the trade. Like, I didn't see him for 5 hours. So I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, "Yeah, I'll take you up." Joe was like, "I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "That's what I want to say what's up to him." So I went back up, and I dap him up, and you could just tell like the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in like the hall, like in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. And, you know, I'm just in my head, like, this is a whirlwind. Like, I'm so excited, like fired up. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new opportunity, whatever. And you could just tell the energy was off. Like, I dapped him up. He had like a blank face. And I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking anything of it. Maybe he's just different. I don't know. I don't know him, whatever. I go into the room. They sit me down on the couch. And he's like, "Man, I don't know how to say this, but, you know, one of our doctors has concerns with, you know, with the results and whatever, and like with your knee, like some of them have, you know, are concerned about the future and da. And, you know, we really want you and this is what it is, but, you know, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions." And,
wow. Well, I mean, I guess the distinction is he didn't go right from the airplane into the facility. He went from the airplane into a medical facility. So I could understand the general manager not being there. I get that. Personally, I mean, again, I'm speaking for Grant Napear. There's a lot going on 24 hours before NFL free agency and the new year begins. But if Max Crosby's coming to see my franchise and his first stop's going to be at the medical facility to get an MRI or whatever, I'm going to be there. I'm going to make sure that he knows I want him and I'm happy that he's there. Unless the GM's attitude was, I don't want to get too close to Max until I know that he passes his physical and he's good to go. I don't want to form that bond. I don't want to get to first base and second base knowing that I may not ever get to third base or home plate. I could possibly see that line of thinking, Ryan. I could possibly see that maybe being the case. At how do you feel at 916-779-0929? In other words, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. You have to make sure that everything is right from the get-go. In other words, you must have the certainty from your doctors that he is going to be good. So you get off the plane, you go to the medical facility, the MRI he just talked about. You get examined by the doctors and everything else. Then you go and you go to the facility or whatever. And I'm sure that the general manager got a call saying, "Hey, this is not good." But shouldn't the GM come tell Max Crosby that it's not good? I don't know. That's the part, the communication part. That's the part, Ryan, that this is a little fishy to me.
This is where it's super fishy to me. And I think the way you laid that out is feasible, right? But they had, and Diana Rossini said this, they had everything before they offered the 2 draft picks. They had all of the information. They talked to the surgeon. They had looked at the scans, right? And if you also listen to what Diana Rossini said, they did the scan and then they decided to have 5 independent doctors after the scan to look at this. Now, when Max enters the building, I don't care if you have cold feet or not. If the player, I would expect the GM to be at least shaking hands with Max and not Max having to ask to see the GM and not see the GM.
Yeah.
Ask to see the coach and not see the coach. I mean, it kind of feels, and as you can see, he's kind of laying out like this is kind of weird. You know, like, Grant, you see these things all the time when the players are welcomed, the cheerleaders are there, the entire office staff is there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Something was weird here. And if you can't pull Max in, if Max is at the point where he feels like something's off before he's even been asked to come upstairs, something's probably a little off, Names.
Yeah. You know what? They wanted Trey Hendrickson, and they probably were. They decided that maybe they thought they couldn't get Hendrickson, and then they found out the day before they could get him, and that's what they wanted, and they just felt that was a better fit for them. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they had buyer's remorse when they wanted a certain car, and then another car became available, and they liked that car better, and they wanted to get that car. That's what that's what this appears to be to me.
You know what it feels like to me?
What?
They were looking for the doctor to say, yeah, I'm not sure about the long term, because it wasn't the immediate term. It was 2 or 3 years down the road. So what that means, and this is pure speculation, Dr. One reviews it. Yeah, we don't really see any problems. Maybe this. Okay, we'll get a second opinion. We don't really see any problems. Third opinion, we don't see. They're going until they get a doctor that has a issue with it to finally say, all right, Max, we can't do this. That is how it feels.
Yeah, you need 5. I mean, we're talking about meniscus surgery. We're not talking about open heart surgery, all right? We're talking about a knee. There are thousands of these surgeries done every day, okay? Thousands in America every day. This is not considered a significant surgical procedure based on an athlete's recovery. You understand? It's not like an Achilles. It's a meniscus. And athletes go through this all the time. It doesn't make sense to me. Nothing makes sense to me.
Grant. They even went on the record and said the concern wasn't this season. It wasn't next season.
Yeah.
It's what's it going to be 3 years, 4 years. And that to me is a fishing expedition to get the news that you want to get. That's how it feels.
Well, we're going to talk more about this with Sean Salisbury right after Grant's rant in a couple of moments. I am going to do a rant right at 5 that I always do, and then we'll get to Sean. We're going to talk to him about this. Sean's a huge baseball fan. We'll talk to him about the WBC and the championship game, or the whatever you call it, the final game. And that is going to be starting here in just a little bit, so we'll talk to Sean about that. Your phone calls and text messages always welcome at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. A lot of messages about my conversation with Jerry West. No, it was not about DeMarcus Cousins. I'll just tell you that so you can cross that off your list. Again, 916-779-0929. We've got another hour left in the show. Don't forget, tonight over on YouTube and X, Jerry Reynolds, Ryan, and Sacktown, and myself will break down the Kings and the Spurs as De'Aaron Fox back in town, Victor Wembanyama, Harrison Barnes, and the red-hot, sizzling San Antonio Spurs in the house tonight here in Sacramento. When we come back, though, Grant's rant, Sean Salisbury, 1 hour remaining. Right here on the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
This weekend, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks is live at Cal Expo, but this Thursday, you can see the all-new Rhino Mine in person at Elk Grove Chevrolet. It's free to the public, plus win tickets and other official swag too. Come see Rhino Mine this Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. at Elk Grove Chevrolet at the Elk Grove Auto Mall.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you with literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site. You can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
My retired friends are going back to work. I'm worried Social Security won't be enough. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to $1,000 a month for food and medicine. It's free. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
And this is Above the Noise. At first glance, opening night of March Madness doesn't exactly scream must watch. A pair of 16 seeds and a matchup of 11 seeds rarely moves the needle for the casual fan. The 16 seeds may be long shots. History has made that clear. As for the 11 seed games, well, that carries far more weight than it appears. This is where March has quietly built some of its most compelling stories. 6 different 11 seeds have crashed the Final Four. LSU, George Mason, VCU, Loyola Chicago, UCLA, and most recently, NC State. It's a trend. They're not your typical underdogs. They often are battle-tested, overlooked for one reason or another, but talented enough to win a few games in a row. That's the beauty of the tournament. Only takes one game to spark a run, and once that starts, the seed next to your name doesn't matter. If you're looking for some madness to begin, history tells us the 11 seeds are a pretty good place to start. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. 2 words, prostate exam. Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance. Scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at libertymutual.com.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
Being arrested for driving under the influence a week ago. You're a professional athlete. You're not even playing currently because you have a broken hand. You play for the Phoenix Suns. And then a week later, you are pulled over and cited for going 85 in a 45. That's right. A week after being arrested for driving under the influence. You were then driving 85 and a 45, where the police used the term catastrophic situation based on the rate of speed in the 45. That's right, catastrophic. I mean, unbelievable. Seriously. Dylan Brooks is who I'm talking about, of the Phoenix Suns. What a disgrace. And you ask yourself, what on earth are you thinking about? Do you care? No, obviously you don't care. Talk about decision making. Again, I'm asking you to put yourself in the shoes of Dylan Brooks. The public humiliation on top of driving under the influence. And then a week later, you're pulled over for going 85 in a 45. Unfreaking believable. Sad with a capital S, disturbing with a capital D, unbelievable with a capital U. What on earth are you thinking about? And again, the law enforcement saying a catastrophic situation. 85 and a 45 a week after getting arrested for a DUI. Unfreaking believable. And that's my rant for today. Always great when I can talk with Sean Salisbury right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. I guess I shouldn't be surprised at anything in this day and age, Sean. How are you, buddy?
No, you shouldn't. And great rant by you, and I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And some guys don't get it and never will. And I think we have a problem with whether it's a certain age group or a certain career, whether it's athletes, and maybe it's like this in life, but we're focused because we're sports guys that, quite frankly, think they're above anything. And they just think they won't get caught and they're untouchable. And we'll continue to coddle them with teams and let them happen and let them play and do all the stuff that we do. So, you know what? Yep. He's fortunate because all he has to learn from, does he need me to run through some guys in the past who've been driving too fast in crowded areas and has ruined their life and killed somebody else? There's a wide receiver that used to play for the Raiders.
Yeah, I talked about him earlier in the show.
Yeah, who I guarantee you, or at least I hope, would think twice about doing it again because his life completely changed over that, and he changed the course of a family's life. So while it didn't happen this time, eventually, if you're going to continue to rob Peter, paying Paul just won't be a slap on the hand, and that's the unfortunate part for some of them. But the entitlement that goes on with athletes exists every day, and quite frankly, it's annoying, and it's maddening. Yep. And it's tiresome, to be honest.
You're never short of an opinion. And I talked about the Henry Ruggs situation in the first hour of the show because he is probably going to be released from prison here in the next several months here in 2026. And I talked about the Michael Vick story, although that was, with dogs. I've talked about players in the past, Sean, that you've been on the field against that have come back from vehicular homicide to resume their career. And again, this is my opinion. This is not about law. It's not about what is going to happen. It's just Grant Napier's opinion. I personally think that when you are driving under the influence, in the case of Henry Ruggs going 125 miles per hour in the middle of the night down a Las Vegas, life of an innocent person and change that family's trajectory forever, that you don't have the privilege anymore to play in the National Football League or in pro sports. I know that wouldn't hold up in court, but that's how I feel. What do you think about that? Because a lot of people think he's going to be back on the NFL field in the next few years.
Yeah, and making more money than the family that of the kid he killed probably than they ever will in their life. Okay, and I'm not saying this is a money situation, but Grant, I understand that each situation's different. But I'm with you. I always lean toward that, and we aren't the law, and I know that trying to hold something up in court, but when people say, first of all, playing pro sports is not a right, man. It's a privilege. There's no doubt about it, and playing it for a long time. But I think there are things we do in life, and we can get into, outside athlete. You see it all the time on, guys raping kids, and we see it. I read another story about, and they're out walking the streets 2 years later. Right. And
despicable.
And oh yeah, you know what? It's okay. He's rehab. No, you to me, when you decide and make the choice, and Henry Ruggs, I don't know Henry Ruggs, but I know when you decided to make the choice and get behind the wheel and go. And all of us who've been down that street in Las Vegas know exactly. I mean, who does that? But somebody that made the choice. That's not an accident. That's a decision. And he made a decision that not only put him in jail, and broke the law by a lot, but cost somebody else their life and a family that'll never recover. And I want people to put themselves, well, people can rehab. Yeah, they can. How about a little longer? How about you suffer your pain just a little bit longer so you're doing your time? And I don't really care how good you are in prison. You want to know why? Because I understand why you are, because you're probably scared to death every morning you wake up. That's why. And probably minding your P's and Q's, because in there, the hardened criminals they are far worse than anything you'll run into on the street. So when you decide to make that decision and kill a family member or rape a family member in other cases or murder somebody else, I think you lose your privilege that you were given before you were in there. I just do. And I know I know repentance matters and all those things and forgiveness. But, you know, when did this happen, Grant? What was the year this happened again with Ruggs? What was
I think it was 2 to 3 years ago, right?
Okay.
Was it more than that?
How in the world? Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't much more than that. I think it's a little longer.
Okay.
I do. I think it's a tad bit longer.
Okay.
But I want you to visualize you're the family of the lost life. You now visualize that and tell me what you're thinking when he walks on the streets, and he's going to get the privilege of going and making a ton of money if he comes back to the league, because minimum salary is what, $750,000, $800,000 now, and do that. Yeah. And that family's not going to reap any benefit from it. Forget the financial world. They never get their kid back. So when accidents happen, that was no accident. That was a decision. Yeah. And so to me, just like I said, it's not a right to play pro sports. It's a privilege. Yeah. And you know, if you're fortunate, you play 10 years. If you're decent at it, you play 5. Yeah. You're fortunate, you play 10. You play more than 10, then you're living a good life. So for me, I just think we're too easy on people. Not in an accident. I get an accident, but on a decision that was made that you not only put yourself in a bind, but you're fortunate. And when I say fortunate, it could have been a full family. You took somebody else's life, and that's one's too many. And imagine. So the question is, has he learned his lesson? Has he learned his lesson? So now I always err on the side of you're going to have to suffer a little longer, because the family deserves to know that somebody cared about their kid. Because obviously he didn't. And maybe he'll rehab and be a great, because we've seen it. We've seen a lot of rehab. But you know what? When you have that come to Jesus and face your own mortality, meaning in prison, or that fear that gets in, you can be rehab. But you know what? At times, I think a little scare you straight, a little longer, scare you a little straighter, just to make sure that the message was sent. Whatever he served, it ain't been long enough. That's a fact. Because if it was your kid or somebody else's kid, I would imagine we'd feel a lot stronger about it than some people probably will. Because I guarantee there's some say, good, it was an accident. No, that's not an accident. That's a poor decision. And that there's a big difference.
Well said. All right. It's been a week since the Ravens backed out on the Max Crosby deal. Max was on a podcast just today, and the news has come out, and he said on the podcast that the Ravens general manager never even met with him, and that Jesse Minter acted shady. And so I know you weren't behind the scenes. I know that you weren't there. I wasn't there. I just find it odd that Diana Rossini of The Athletic, who's really an outstanding NFL reporter, she said that while Crosby was in the building, they were talking to Trey Hendrickson. This whole thing sounds fishy to me. Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, that I did know, that the last part, because I talked about it on my show. It's, you know what it reminds me of, and you know my affinity. I love Lane Kiffin. So remember when Sam Levitt was transferring from Arizona State, said he was going to LSU, Lane Kiffin was sitting in the building with the quarterback from Washington at a basketball game, while he's sitting with one and on the phone with the other. And it just so, you know, as the talks go. And then they end up signing a third one as the second one, meaning USC. Hassan, you know, the Longstreet kid from USC, who's now there with Sam Levitt, and the kid went back to Washington. So in a different way, it's similar. And listen, Grant, I'm just going to tell you, we should not be shocked. I'm not talking about the mentor or anybody in particular. In this case, it is the Baltimore Ravens. But this happens in college and in the NFL more than people think. Honestly, it just does. Of you're entertaining one and entertaining the other. You know, you got one, but you're playing with the other one just in case. I don't doubt for 1 second that they were talking to Trey Hendrickson, that Max Crosby's there. I actually think I don't think this came down to just injury. Well, for any stretch by any stretch of the imagination, I think it came down to because they knew all they saw all the pictures. They knew what Max Crosby did. He was going through rehab. They knew everything about it.
Sure.
When he walked into the building, they got cold feet. And I do like the Ravens organization when Ozzie Newsome was there and all the way down and now has been a fantastic organization with John Harbaugh. They have. Bisciotti's been a great owner. He stays out of the way. They just have been. But they botched this. They still get a great player. Hendrickson can play. I understand why you'd get Hendrickson, but the cold feet to send him there and then to back out, and this window that the NFL gives them, the remorse window or whatever, I call it a remorse window. We're like, I don't know. But they knew that when he got on his plane to go out there, and they were entertaining both. And I actually think they thought we don't have to give up 2 number ones. Max is banged up. We'll see how the rehab goes. Hendrickson's a really good player. We can get him for we'll sign him to a $100 million contract. You know what? Let's just back out on this. We got a minute. I just don't feel good about it. And okay, the rules say you can, but it is. You're right. A little shady to have one guy in entertaining another, and then you back out on one. Now, I would understand if you said we want both, and you were trading for Max Crosby and paying Trey Hendrickson $100 million, and you could afford both. Great, no big deal there. But yes, shady. And if Max sees it, it's like when you go buy a house or something you do, or you run into somebody you have good feelings, and don't ever. I always say this: when my gut hits different, I'm out. And Max's gut was telling him one thing, though, and it's probably a blessing for Crosby that he's going to back where he really wanted to play. He wants to be a Raider for life, and he does. So in being a little bothered by what happened, or maybe even stunned, and those are my words. There's that blessing of, man, why is this happening? Then you go back 2 days later and say, I am so glad this happened. I think we've all had it happen in our careers in different ways. So, and I'll tell you what, if you're not meeting with the GM and you walk into a room like that and you're a high-priced trade or free agent and the GM has not talked to you while you're in the building,
wow.
I would do, if you were a free agent, I wouldn't go there. If you're a trade, I'd do everything I could to beg out of it and tell them you were hurting worse and whatever, because that's I don't understand how you can make a decision on a player without shaking his hand and sitting face to face, and why you wouldn't after 2 number ones at the time. Which, you know what bothers me about this? I almost feel, listening to what you're saying about Diana Rossini, is that they knew while he was on a flight and landed in D.C. and drove to Baltimore, that they were going to squelch the deal. When I hear what you're saying, it makes me feel like, well, if the GM disinterested so he doesn't get attached to Max's personality, that if he's not meeting with him and he's on the phone to somebody else, I get the feeling that when, that recruiting trip you go on, you say, man, I just didn't feel good about that when you're high school going to college. I don't feel good about that. And I was on a couple. It was good, but I knew this wasn't where I was going.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the same thing where Max, I honestly believe now through all this, and I knew they were entertaining Hendrickson when Max Crosby was even after the trade.
Yeah.
But it tells me that while he was in the building under their roof, that he was actually, that they were entertaining and already knew that they were going to back out of the deal before Max left that building. I believe it. Remember years ago, was it Tony, the Miami Dolphins head coach? Remember when they invited Jim Harbaugh in and they hadn't fired their coach and Harbaugh was in the building interviewing? I'm not saying on Jim, but they brought him in there. Both coaches were in the building. Was it Tony Sperano? Was it that time?
Yeah, I think it was Tony Sperano.
It was a coach.
Yeah.
Yes, where he was there, and they were going to get rid. And the next head coach or the guy you wanted were recruiting was in the building at the same time. I got a real problem with that, and I always will. But Baltimore, a good organization, and they get Hendrickson, so eventually it'll just go away and everybody will be happy.
Sure.
But it is very shady, and Diana Rossini's exactly right. And if you're Max Crosby, consider it a blessing, even though your team's not as good, that you got out. If the GM's not talking to you, you shouldn't be there.
Sean, I want to talk baseball. I've soured on the way the game's played over the last couple of years. Obviously, the World Series last October was maybe the best I've ever seen. But I watched the United States play the Dominican Republic the other night in Miami. I watched every pitch. And I got to tell you, Sean, it felt like I was watching baseball from yesteryear, the game that I grew up loving. I just loved everything about it. The atmosphere was as good as I've ever seen at any baseball game anywhere. The way the game was played, the excitement, the commitment. I don't know if you felt the same way as me, but it kind of restored my faith in the sport a little bit. It was a phenomenal spectacle.
100%. Well, I love that the Dominicans I love their energy and their country and their love for it. I love how the Americans were matching theirs. Phenomenal pitching. Severino and, even though Skeens didn't have his best stuff, you get the Bednar and then Whitlock and then Mason. No, dude, Grant, just a little off target here, but I don't know how you step into a batter's box and a guy pumps at 102, 103 and then bends a nasty slider and a hook on you. And I know it was a little low, but they missed both. But I don't even know how you even touch it. I really don't, because you got to sit fastball. And you saw Tatis, and then they went, you got to sit fastball. If you're sitting something else, that ball's into the glove and back to the pitcher when you're swinging. I'm with you. I watched every pitch from the opening pitch. I'm going to do the same thing tonight.
Me too.
It's on, but I absolutely loved it. I'm with you. Low scoring, good. I mean, good defense. Bobby Witt Jr. is special. It was just their stars, the way they play defense, the way they get after it. I love the energy, everything about it. Everything about it. And, it felt World Series-like. And I'm telling you, I 100% believe the Olympic gold medal for the men fed into this. And if you're an American,
no question,
and you turn, if going forward, you turn the opportunity down, you're missing out.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see more and more. It used to be, turn it down. It was kind of a exhibition. They look at it, this is serious business, and those nerves are going to be flying. I'm with you. It did restore mine too. Basketball still got a long way to go to restore my love for it again, which used to be my favorite sport. But baseball, stand proud, man. This World Baseball Classic's been awesome, and we got some nasty stars from Acuna and Rise and Suarez for them and our lineup. It's a blast to watch, and you can tell they care, and I can't wait to see the drama tonight.
It's also opened my eyes to how worldwide the game truly is. We grew up, we're in the same generation, Sean, where it was the United States was the United States, and then Japan, and we saw them Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, the showdown in the last WBC. And we've always recognized that Japan has been a country that has produced great baseball players. But when you see now this World Baseball Classic and you see what Italy did, and yes, I know that a lot of the players are MLB players, but I just think it's fascinating to see where this sport has gone and grown to where it is truly a worldwide sport now.
No doubt. And it's awesome. And it's only going to get better. It really is, the continued emphasis on this. And I'm with you, Grant. I'm sitting there, Aaron Nolan watching the Italians play. Listen, we can talk, they do have major league players, but going into it, you didn't have in the semis, you did not have Italy in your Final Four. Good players where you're like, come on, man.
No.
And they competed. They competed against us and played really good baseball. So when countries that we think their sport is not baseball, they're competing at a high level and pushing it to where they're a couple runs away from being in a final. It is widespread. You know what it reminds me of, Grant? And it's still going on, but in youth soccer, the influx when you and I were like adults, but young adults, and how it just everywhere. The Americans were getting in. When I was growing up, soccer became, this soccer thing. People loved it. It was Pele, and then now it's everybody. And we love going to soccer. And you take your kids. I feel like baseball, what soccer did for us in the United States, or even hockey when Gretzky came here, even though you get my point, is the emphasis on that. Hell, American teams are winning the Stanley Cup on a regular basis. I feel like baseball's doing that for countries we never expected to be competitive. We know about the Dominican and Venezuela and Puerto Rico and, those countries, and Japan. But man, as you mentioned, Italy, and we're taking it more serious than other places. I love it. Venezuela has never made it to the final, and here they are. It's pretty cool, man. And it has. It's hit, and it's spreading. And if we keep playing it like this and the best go, then this is going to be a fun watch every time we get to see it.
Well, as Ronald Acuna Jr. walks up to start the World Baseball Classic for all the marbles, I'll say thank you very much. You can go and enjoy the game. First pitch and a base hit. So I love talking to you each and every week, buddy. I appreciate you. Enjoy the game tonight.
Me too. And real quick, Grant, I hope it's Acuna facing Mason Miller with two strikes. I mean, in the bottom, in the top half, and you got to come in and close it out. The best versus the best. Let's get it on, man. I can't wait. Have a great one, buddy. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
All right. Sounds great. That's Sean Salisbury. Really good stuff here. But it is underway with Venezuela and the United States. One pitch and a hit already. Wow. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun. And I've always enjoyed Sean's perspective on all sports, not just football. He's really dialed in. We'll take a timeout. We'll get to Tim next when we return right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
This weekend, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks is live at Cal Expo, but this Thursday, you can see the all-new Rhino Mine in person at Elk Grove Chevrolet. It's free to the public, plus win tickets and other official swag, too. Come see Rhino Mine this Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. at Elk Grove Chevrolet at the Elk Grove Auto Mall.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabrew's. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabrew's or visit Gabrew's.com. GUBRUDS.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Not too bad. Hey, I gave you a shout last Thursday, and I told you the Kings are going to run us out of at least the top 3 picks. And what do you know, this weekend, 3 out of 4, running ourselves out of picks. But I did mention, keep your eyes on Darius Acuff. Were you able to get to watch him this weekend, Grant?
Yeah, I did. Phenomenal looking talent. No question about it.
I told you he was an absolute elite ball scorer, averaging 29 points in the SEC tournament. Like, come on, Grant. Like,
Big
if
time.
we can
No, I
commit
know,
to a
big
top
time.
three,
I was very
let's go
impressed.
get it.
I had watched him before, but not a lot. But I did this weekend, and I was like, wow, it is. He's got wow potential.
Do you see him fitting in the Kings organization?
Yeah, if you can draft him, I think he could fit into a lot of places. I mean, the guy's like the real deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you spending time. I don't know if the draft is only 4 players. Everyone that's talked to me about the draft says, no, this is a really deep draft. And Jerry said this the other night on our postgame show on YouTube, and I think he's spot on. You're going to find a player in this draft that is not being talked about right now as a top 4 pick, that in a year or a few months from now or 2 years from now, you're going to look back and say, that individual should have gone first, second, or third. It happens every year, and it will happen again this year. Okay? It will happen again this year. All right. Again, if you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. Don't forget that after the game, we will be on YouTube and X. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan in Sacktown, yours truly, with the Kings and the Spurs getting ready to play tonight at 7 o'clock. And again, there's a little bit of confusion about the start time. It is 7 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. So keep that in mind. The final game of the WBC is underway, bottom of the first, and they are scoreless after Acuna got a leadoff single. The next batter hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and they were able to make it a very quick, very, very quick inning. Again, bottom of the first. So we've got a lot of topics that we've been hitting on today. And there have been some people that have texted me about the WBC and whether it will give momentum into the regular season. You know, I'm not so sure. And the reason why I say that, I think it's normally short-lived, like it was in hockey with Team USA, both the women's and the men's team winning gold. And did people start flocking to the National Hockey League a couple of days later? You know, I'm not so sure the answer to that question is yes. I don't think it hurts. But what kind of baseball are we going to see when the regular season begins here in 2 weeks? Hard to believe it's 2 weeks. Speaking of the regular season, did you see the National Football League and what they're going to do? They are going to start the regular season this year on a Wednesday instead of the traditional Thursday. Even though the schedule is not out, you would think it's going to be a home game for the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. And then guess who's playing on Thursday night this year to open up this season? That's right. Let's get on a plane and let's fly 15 hours to Melbourne, Australia. That's right. Let's get on a plane. Let's go 15 to 16 hours, and let's play a football game in Melbourne to kick off this season. Then let's get back on the plane after the game with the players that are banged up and the injuries, and let's sit on that plane, including boarding and everything else, for 16 hours or 17 hours, because it's longer coming that way. And let's go back to L.A., and the Bay Area, and let's get ready for week 2 by the time you land 9 days later. How stupid is that? Seriously. How stupid is that? Incredible. Now, because the NFL has already decided that Melbourne is going to be part of their international schedule, if you got to play the game, then it does make sense to play it in the first week instead of the middle of the season. So at least that part of it makes sense, but it does not make sense to me to have a regular season game in Melbourne, Australia. Have you ever been to Australia? Have you ever flown to Australia? from San Francisco or LA? Have you been on a plane that long for 15 hours, 16 hours, 17 hours? And listen, I understand that they're not going to be sitting in a middle seat in economy. I get that. But the time difference and everything else, for some of these players that are, 6'4" and 300 pounds, your offensive tackles and offensive guards, I don't care what kind of plane you're on. This is brutal. It is absolutely awful. Makes no sense to have a game in the regular season in Melbourne, Australia. All right, the latest, Malik Monk is out. Rhino, let's hope that he's okay. I'm a little worried about him with his sore ankle. You think he's going to make it? You think he's going to be able to survive?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, he does have health care here. He doesn't have to go to an Australian hospital.
Good point.
So it's kind of...
You don't think he would have to go to a hospital, though, for soreness, do you, on an ankle?
Well, you never know, Grant. I mean, the rule in school, if they get held out of school a couple days, you got to get a doctor's note.
Maybe an MRI?
Yeah, who knows?
Is that the rule in school now?
Depends on the student and how much school they have missed.
Oh.
But yes, some kids have to get notes after a couple of days.
What about if you're in homeschool?
You get to make your own rules.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like if you have a kid that you're homeschooling,
yeah,
and they just don't like going to the doctor, then you could say, well, school's forcing you to go to the doctor. Get around it that way. You know what's so funny? My son cannot stand going to the doctor. He is so afraid of
kids
needles.
do like going to the doctor. I've never met a kid that likes going to the doctor.
Okay, that's fair. But then there's like, I hate it. I start feeling sick if I'm thinking about going to the doctor. My blood pressure goes up.
Is it the equivalent of taking a pet to the vet when you walk into the front door and the dog or your cat? I don't have a cat, but the dog always knows they're going to the vet and goes crazy.
And they're like shaking.
Yeah. Like it happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially if you don't take your dogs out. That's the only time you take your dog in the car. Yeah. It's like Pavlov's dogs. They know we're going somewhere we don't want to be. But
my dog was always in the car. I love going in the car.
Love it. Love it. So anyways, Liam had to, he got an ear infection. And the doctor said, we want to see you back in maybe 2 weeks. Make sure the meds worked. And this kid is on me now about scheduling the appointment. I'm like, oh, you're cool with the doctor now. I'm getting text messages. When's my appointment? When's my appointment?
They give him a lollipop or something when he left or some candy? What's that all about?
No, I guess maybe he got over it.
Okay. Well, that's good because,
good for him.
Yeah. I've never met anyone that likes going to the doctor. You know what? Do you know anybody that likes going to the dentist?
No. Well,
okay. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Who likes going to the doctor or the dentist? Nobody likes going to the doctor or the dentist.
There is a loophole with the dentist that can make it tolerable.
And what's that?
If they give you the gas, whatever the gas is,
yeah,
that makes it tolerable.
Yeah. That's an interesting experience.
Yes, definitely is.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Dentist or doctor for you? Which one's worse?
Depends what I'm having done at the dentist. If I'm just having my teeth cleaned, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah, but
if I'm having a root canal or I'm having a implant or which I have had before, then I'm like, or what am I going to the doctor for? I mean, there's different.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I would just put it to you this way. I think going to the doctor can be very scary at times if you're worried that you might have something other than a common ailment.
Sure.
Until you get the test results. So I think that part of going to the doctor is nerve-wracking and scary, especially if they go, we don't really like this. We're going to have to give you some tests and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Waiting for the results is a very tumultuous time.
Yeah, very true. And then the way it's done now, if your results aren't accessible online, then you start to worry. Yeah, I get it. But even when you go to the dentist for a common cleaning, maybe it's just my dentist, but I swear when they do the gum pocket testing,
Yeah, I don't
It's
like
like they are picking
Yeah.
for gold as deep down as they can get.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so I don't look forward to that.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know anybody that looks forward to going to either. I don't, whether you're going to the doctor or the dentist, I think that most of us are happy if we don't have to go. All right, on that note, we'll take the time out. We'll come back for the final segment. Give me a call at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. Final segment on this Tuesday edition of the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Downtown Ford Sacramento welcomes you with literally acres of new and Ford certified pre-owned vehicles on site. You can start planning a road trip up into the snow now because Downtown Ford has the vehicles to get you there. And our top-notch service team will keep it running perfectly as long as you own it. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and fleet vehicles. Downtown Ford Sacramento. Open daily on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center.
Are you SAC Alert? Have you signed up to receive emergency alerts via phone, text, email, or app? Well, what are you waiting for? Winter is coming, and that means there is potential for storms and flooding in our county. Don't get caught off guard or left in the cold. Get urgent storm evacuation and shelter information immediately sent directly to your device. Sign up today at sacramento-alert.org. Again, that's sacramento-alert.org. It's free, quick, and easy to do, and can literally be a lifesaver.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Expert Tires and Brakes at 5810 Auburn Boulevard. Expert Tires and Brakes. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard. That's Expert Tires and Brakes.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/.
It wouldn't surprise me. And then I think in the fourth quarter, they'll do what they need to do to turn it on. But it wouldn't surprise me if this game is close for a while, Ryan. But you said earlier you think Fox is going to have a big game, right? Because you said, was it last year, right, when he came back in his return, he didn't really play that well.
Yeah, he didn't play well. His finger was pretty banged up by that point, and I think it was getting to the Sacramento game, and then shortly after he had surgery. So I expect him to be aggressive tonight. I think the Kings, and this is something that's not new, they play up to their competition a lot of times. I think the unit that's on the floor now, with Westbrook playing, if you get the version of Westbrook against the Clippers, I think it will be a good game. But if you get the other version of Westbrook, I wonder, because this is not a team that you want the offense to stall out. You want this team to get up and down the court like they did last game because they're on the second night of a back-to-back. But I'm with you.
All right, let's have over-under, more or less 30 minutes for Russell Westbrook tonight. More or less?
More.
Okay. 15 shots for Russell Westbrook tonight. More or less?
Less.
Well, if he's going to play over 30, it's going to be more. Do you think Russell Westbrook's going to stay on the floor in the 30s and not take 15 shots?
He was under last game against the Clippers.
No, he was over.
Was he over?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was under 14 and a half.
No, it was more than that.
Okay.
I'm almost positive. We look it up while you get a second. You're talking about the Clippers game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost positive it went over.
He had a triple-double, but he didn't really take that many. Let's see.
Yeah, look it up and let me know. I thought it was over. I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times before.
Yeah, you're not usually wrong. So
somebody said, are you going to play any audio from the Crosby podcast? We already did. We played it last hour. We talked about it at length, spent 2 segments on it. So we already played the sound from Max Crosby.
So he was over 15 shots.
Yeah. Well, that's all you got to be, is you only have to be over by a half. And that was the over under was 14 and a half, and I took the over, or you took the under. I'm just telling you, I'm taking the over in this game.
Okay.
If he plays 30 minutes, he's going to take 15 shots or more.
You're not going to have here's what I think will be interesting. So Killian Hayes definitely will be the backup point guard. I'll be interested to see what they do with Neek tonight. And maybe that benefits the Kings because Neek is not bringing the ball up as much. But at the same time, when Russ is bringing the ball up, sometimes it's straight into an advantage that he sees, whereas Neek is getting the ball moving around with everybody else.
Well, the Kings better be aware that there's a legitimate, true shot blocker on the floor tonight when you're trying to take the ball to the basket. So you better be aware of that at all times.
You know what?
You have Victor Wembanyama on the floor.
I am so glad you said that, because last game in Austin, or not Austin, when they played, at Austin.
It was Austin.
Yeah, when they played at the Moody Center, right off the bat, Westbrook testing Wemby. You had a couple of Kings doing it. It's like, hello, common sense. But I do think you'll get here's my concern. I really, really like the Kings playing through DeRozan when the young guys are getting a lot of time. It's looked well. It's getting the guys better looks. They're playing more cohesively on the offensive side. So I'll be interested to see who they're playing through tonight, and if Russ will defer as much as the others did to DeRozan.
The Kings are going to have a really difficult time tonight with dribble penetration. That is going to be a real key when they have Russell Westbrook on the floor.
Yes.
So that's going to be an issue. I still think the Spurs will take this game lightly tonight. I just don't see them coming out with their A game. I just don't. I think they could coast a little bit, and I think that could keep the Kings in the game for a while.
That means Wemby shooting threes. Now, he's capable of knocking those down, but yeah. And De'Aaron shooting threes as well. I think De'Aaron's going to really try to get to the paint in this game.
I think this is a big game for him. I would agree with that. Totally agree.
I think he'll get a very warm reaction.
Yeah,
the
I think
first
so.
one was a little bit split, but I think this time he's going to get a nice reaction.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people are at the game. I think with Wembanyama and Foxter, I think it'll be a pretty good crowd.
The prices were up to get in the building. Not crazy high, but closer in the lower bowl to being normal.
You'll be there, correct?
Yes, I will.
All right, so you'll be joining us on the post-game show from G1C.
Yes, I got to go see Wemby. I've never seen him before.
Yeah.
He's never played since I've been going.
How about that? Well, good. Good. Yeah, you can't miss that, right?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, we'll be on after the game. Remember, post-game show, Jerry Reynolds, Ryan, myself, probably 9:15, 9:30 over on YouTube and X. Still no score. They are in the top of the third in Miami with Venezuela and the United States. Again, top of the third, Venezuela with a leadoff single with no out in this. Are you watching the game at all or not really?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
I'll catch some at the arena.
Okay. All right. See, by the time you get to the arena, game will probably be in the 7th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning. These games have moved along pretty quickly, actually.
Well, the last game against Puerto Rico, that did not, or the Dominican Republic, excuse me, that didn't end until halftime, and it was a 7:00 game.
Yeah,
too.
you're right. That game did go on a little bit. You're right. You're right. That is very true. There were a lot of long counts in that game, and pitching changes. Yeah, that game did move a little bit. It was such a phenomenal spectacle. I didn't even care. It was such a great game.
Napes, Jason, I don't know if he's serious or not. The Kings could get the 8th spot.
What year? What year could they get the 8th
talking about
spot?
the draft? Maybe he's talking about the draft.
I think he's talking about the draft. Yes, they could. I would say it's highly unlikely they're going to fall that far. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. I think they lose tonight. I think they'll lose against Philly, and I think they'll beat Brooklyn. What did we talk about all year before this season even began? We pointed at this stretch in March as a lot of winnable games. That was before we even knew about the injuries.
That's right. That's right. We said this. We started off saying if the Kings could get to Thanksgiving and be right around 500, they would be in good shape because that's when the schedule started to lighten up.
Right. And I said the chances of that would be slim and none.
And Slim just walked through the door.
Slim walked through the door halfway around the world over in Hong Kong.
So
okay,
true.
that's where Slim is. Slim is not in Sacramento, and Slim's not in the United States. Slim is over in Hong Kong. Okay, just want to let you know. That's my little travel segment. Slim is recovering from a flight in October still that was 15 hours and 22 minutes from Los Angeles to Hong Kong and has not returned to Northern California. That's where Slim is. All right. Slim walked out of the door, okay, months ago. All right. Slim is having some of that great food and taking the Star Ferry over to Kowloon for the night market. That's where Slim is. Slim's not in Sacramento. Slim left a long time ago. Slim left the minute that the Kings signed Russell Westbrook. That's where Slim went. Slim boarded a plane, went 15 hours, 20-plus minutes, and is taking the Star Ferry for very little money back and forth from Hong Kong Island to Kowloon. So let's make sure we have an understanding there. All right? I mean, let's get serious here. Yeah. The Kings are not going to be taking the 8th pick in the draft. I find that highly, highly unlikely. All right? Boy, I hope the Marlins get this much attention in 2 weeks of Miami. Let me tell you, Patrick, that would be slim and none. And Slim is somewhere, okay, in Siberia. Okay, he's not even in Hong Kong. Slim on that one is in Siberia. Unfortunately, Slim went the wrong way and ended up in Siberia and now is trapped in the middle of winter with very difficult borders to get out of. And so the chances of the Marlins having any positive domino effect from the World Baseball Classic is slim and none. And as I said, Slim is far, 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 far away. Far away. Far away. Come on. Come on. You know? Come on. Ryan, I don't know what else to say on that. I really don't.
Are you a corned beef guy?
No. Are you?
Yeah, I like corned beef.
I don't hate it. It's not my cup of tea. Like if I walked to a restaurant tonight and that's what they were serving, I wouldn't order it. I would order something else. Now, if it was the only thing, okay. If it was the only thing on the menu, then yes, I would have some. But it's not my cup of tea.
Corned beef hash.
Venezuela's on the board first with a sack fly, and it's 1-0. Go ahead.
Corned beef hash has to be fresh, not the canned stuff.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
No. I used to, the canned stuff I used to eat. I was like,
yeah,
that's a little rough for me.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it is. It's rough for everybody.
I don't like the corned beef and cabbage is not my cup of tea. I'm not really into Irish food. I don't eat a lot of. Matter of fact, very little Irish food.
What about a good Reuben sandwich?
Yeah, I'll eat a Reuben sandwich. I don't eat a lot of sandwiches, but I'd eat a Reuben sandwich.
I like a good Reuben.
Yeah. I don't eat a lot of bread anymore, and if I do, I love the sourdough bread.
Yeah,
but I don't eat, and I like it grilled. I like my sandwiches grilled. So like a panini grilled, like a grilled Reuben, I would eat. Yeah.
You would never know this.
I don't eat sauerkraut though.
I love sauerkraut. You would never know this because you don't like eggs, but
no, that's not true. But go ahead.
You don't eat eggs very much.
I eat if I do, it's hard boiled eggs. That's like if I have a Caesar salad with hard boiled eggs cut up, I like that. But go ahead.
Okay. But you take the grilled sourdough toast and you dip it into the over easy egg yolk.
Yep.
That's where it's at.
Oh, okay. No, I don't do that. Don't do that.
So good.
I'm a very simple, basic eater.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I can, again, you and Vlade.
Well, I'm not. You're
not as bad as
I'm
him.
a gourmet chef eating my own food compared to Vlade.
Yes.
Okay, like
That's fair.
Don't even compare me to Vlade when it comes to eating. Don't even go there. I eat everything compared to Vlade.
Patrick says cabbage sucks. I like cabbage. I just don't like how it's prepared with corned beef and cabbage. It's like soggy, you know?
Yeah.
Give me the fresh stuff.
Yeah, sauerkraut, no. Corned beef and cabbage, no. I mean, if I was at Bennett's tonight and they told me I had to have corned beef, yeah, I would have it. I wouldn't. The cabbage, I would probably, I mean, I could eat it, but it's not my favorite, you know?
You could do like a corned beef, sub the cabbage for Brussels sprouts, and then get like a side of mashed potatoes. There you go.
Okay.
That might work.
Yeah, I don't do mashed potatoes very often.
No, I'm worlds apart.
I do. Okay,
I'm worlds apart from Vlade, but
occasionally
I don't do this. I don't do that.
You know what? I'll do baked potato. I like baked potato.
Yeah.
I like if I like hash browns. You like hash browns?
I do. Do you like twice baked potatoes?
Yeah, I'll have a twice baked potato every now and then. How about a 3-time baked potato?
Never had a 3-timer.
I don't even know what that is. I was just making it up.
You're killing me. What's wrong
Well,
with
if
you?
it's baked twice, why not 3 times?
What's wrong with you, my man?
There are many things that are wrong with me. Many things. I can promise you that. What's not wrong with me is our work ethic. I'm speaking for Rhino and myself because we're doing it again right after the game. Rhino's going to be getting in the car. He's going to be driving to the arena. I'm going to be going and setting up for our post-game show and can't wait. We will be talking about the Kings. Can they go for the hat trick in the win column? Probably not. But I think the game's going to be closer than a lot of others. And you get a chance to see maybe the best player in basketball, Victor Wembanyama. Nothing wrong with that. That's going to be coming up about 9:15 or 9:30. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for being a part of the Grant Napear Show. My thanks to Sean Salisbury for joining me today. Olden Polonies tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We've got a lot to talk about in 21 hours from now. See you at 9:15 or 9:30 with Rhino in Sacktown and Jerry Reynolds. Until then, Grant Napear saying so long and thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.